Hello students, welcome to today's session and welcome to Pharma Syndrome channel. And today's session is on the pharmacognosy, that is starting with the tannins. So before entering into the details of these tannins, nothing but pharmacognosy of tannins. So subscribe to our channel Pharma Syndrome YouTube channel. So daily information regarding pharma job updates as well as coaching details regarding the pharmacy competitive exams. So regarding pharmacognosy, there are a lot of class of crude drugs are there, and here we are starting with the tannins. Okay, just a second. So regarding here, the tannins are nothing but the tannins are complex organic compounds. Generally, these are non-nitrogenous in nature, and they containing number of phenolic group, number of alcoholic groups in their structure, and especially they are polyphenolic substances. So these are generally complex organic compounds. They does not contain nitrogen in their structure, and they containing number of phenolic structures, number of phenolic groups. That's why they are known as polyphenolic compounds. And generally they having astringent properties. So astringent properties nothing but precipitation of superficial proteins. And regarding physical properties of a tannin compounds, they are generally non-crystallizable compounds which are soluble in water forming colloidal solutions, and they form a colloidal solutions with a acidic reaction as well as a sharp astringent in nature. And they are soluble in the dilute alkalis, alcohol, glycerol, acetone, but sparingly soluble in the other organic solvents. And their solutions especially precipitate the heavy metals, alkaloids as well as glycosides and also proteins. And here our main focus on the what is the classification of tannins, and what are the different class of examples. For example, there are hydrolyzable tannins, non-hydrolyzable tannins, okay, pseudotannins, number of detailed classification is there. And here, based on the classification, regarding the classification of tannins, the tannins are mainly two types: true tannins as well as pseudotannins. So true tannins gives a positive test for the gold beater skin test, and pseudotannins nothing but pseudo means false. They give negative test for the gold beater skin test. And further detailed classification of tannins here. So tannins are mainly two types. That is, one is true tannin and another one is a pseudo tannin. So mainly two classes. True tannins are high molecular weight, and when coming to the pseudo tannins, they are low molecular weight. And pseudo tannins gives negative test for the gold beater skin test. And when coming to the true tannins, they gives positive test for the gold beater skin test. And again, these true tannins nothing but high molecular weight compounds. Again, they are hydrolyzable. They can easily hydrolyzable in presence of acid or enzymes. Condensed tannins and the complex tannins. The hydrolyzable tannins, they may contain generally gallic acid tannins as well as ellagic acid tannins. And regarding pharmacognosy, so continuously studying of pharmacognosy or listening more than 1 hour, definitely it will get a bore as well as it is dry. But the positive asset for you is from the pharmacognosy the questions are always direct. అంటే pharmacognosy నుంచి మనకి ఎప్పుడు కూడా క్వశ్చన్స్ డైరెక్ట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తాయి. ఇక్కడ ఎటువంటి సబ్జెక్ట్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉండదు కాబట్టి మీరు ఎంత బాగా pharmacognosy మీరు మెమరైజ్ చేసుకోగలిగితే మాక్సిమం బిట్స్ మీరు ఆన్సర్ చేయడానికి ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. సో pharmacognosy అయితే తక్కువ అంచనా వేయద్దు. సో దీనికి ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఇస్తూ ఎక్కువగా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తూ మెమరైజ్ చేసుకోవడానికి ట్రై చేయండి. ఎందుకంటే బిట్స్ అన్ని కూడా డైరెక్ట్ బిట్స్ వస్తాయి. వాటి సినానిమ్స్ కావచ్చు, లేకపోతే వాటి ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ కావచ్చు, వాటి కెమికల్ కన్స్ట్రెంట్స్ కావచ్చు, వాటి ఫ్యామిలీస్ గురించి కావచ్చు క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తాయి అన్నమాట డైరెక్ట్ గా. లేకపోతే అడల్టరెంట్స్ కావచ్చు, లేకపోతే ఆ కెమికల్ కన్స్ట్రెంట్స్ యాక్షన్. సో ఎక్కడా కూడా మోర్ దాన్ 90% కాన్సెప్ట్ ని బేస్ చేసుకుని ఇక్కడ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏ ఉండవు కాబట్టి మోస్ట్లీ బై హెడ్ చేయాల్సిన ఛాన్స్ అయితే ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. నెక్స్ట్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ టు, సో జస్ట్ హియర్ వి సా ద ఏ ఫ్లో చార్ట్ ఆఫ్ క్లాసిఫికేషన్ అండ్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ టు ఫర్దర్ డీటెయిల్స్ ఆఫ్ tannin classification. So further details of tannin classification. So based on complexity of their chemical nature as well as behavior on dry distillation. అంటే జనరల్ గా డ్రై డిస్టిలేషన్ చేసినప్పుడు అట్లాగే కాంప్లెక్స్ కెమికల్ నేచర్. సో అవన్నీ కూడా ఏంటి కాంప్లెక్స్ ఆర్గానిక్ కంపౌండ్స్ అని చదువుకున్నాం. సో దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని అర్థం కావడం కోసం క్లాసిఫికేషన్ ఇంకొంచెం డీటెయిల్ గా మనం చదువుకుందాం. So first one is true tannins. The true tannins are again they are high molecular compounds. They give positive result for the gold bitter skin taste. So ఆ టేస్ట్ గురించి కూడా ఫర్దర్ గా మనం చూద్దాం ఏంటస్ అని. So in true tannins, first one is the hydrolyzable tannins. Hydrolyzable tannins. So name itself indicating they hydrolyze easily by mineral acids or enzymes like tannase, like tannase, and the products like gallic acid and ellagic acid. And generally they soluble in water and gives blue color with ferric chloride. So on treatment with ferric chloride, they gives they gives blue color on treatment with ferric chloride. So what are the examples of this true tannins? Sorry, especially hydrolyzable tannins. So based on this also they will ask the question. So what are the examples of hydrolyzable tannins? So all are hydrolyzable tannins except, and which of the following is not an hydrolyzable tannin? So like that they will ask the question. For that you have to remember examples with help of a trick like M tab. So M means myrobalan, generally known as Arda, and tannic acid, Amla, Arjuna, as well as Bahara. So M-tab. So M-tab is nothing but so M-tab containing true tannins, and especially true tannins in this category hydrolyzable tannins. The hydrolyzable tannins example is M-tab, that is myrobalan, tannic acid, Amla, Arjuna, as well as Bahara. And when these hydrolyzable tannins upon dry distillation, they give pyroglycol compounds as well as phenolic compounds. As you know already, the tannins are high molecular compounds and generally these are non-crystallizable in nature. They does not containing nitrogen in their structure, and these are polyphenolic compounds containing number of phenolic structures in their complexity chemical nature. Next, and the second subtype in the true tannins. First one is hydrolyzable and second one is a condensed or non-hydrolyzable tannin or phlobartannin or. So condensed tannins also known as non-hydrolyzable phlobartannins as well as proanthocyanidins. Proanthocyanidins. So the name itself indicating these are not hydrolyzed in presence of acids or enzyme. And the term proanthocyanidin, refers to the non-hydrolyzable tannin, and they related flavones. They related to the flavones. So maybe a TO and padledu. So they generally related to the flavones because of derived from the flavonoids. And on treatment with enzymes or mineral acids, decomposes to red color substance known as flavonoids, and on dry distillation they yield catacols. So catechol system you can observe in which neurotransmitters? Catechol nucleus. In which neurotransmitter structure we can observe catechol nucleus? What are the example of different neurotransmitters? What are the examples of different neurotransmitters? So catechol nucleus is present in the adrenaline, noradrenaline as well as dopamine, and they are also commonly called as monoamines. And regarding examples of condensed tannins, so you can remember these examples by using the BAP. The trick is the BAP. And examples like black ketachu, amra, nothing but mango, ashoka bark, pale ketachu, nothing but known as Gambier ketachu, and pterocarpus, that is Indian So these are the examples of condensed tannins or non-hydrolyzable tannins or phlobartannins or proanthocyanidins. అంటే జనరల్ గా హైడ్రోలైజబుల్ టానిన్స్ అనేవి సాల్యుబుల్ అవుతాయి, ఈజీగా హైడ్రోలైజ్ అవుతాయి. బట్ హైడ్రోలైజబుల్ తో పోల్చుకుంటే ఇవి హైడ్రోలైజబుల్ అవ్వవు. ఏవి కండెన్స్డ్ టానిన్స్ అంటే హైడ్రోలైజబుల్ టానిన్ తో పోల్చుకుంటే కండెన్స్డ్ టానిన్స్ అవి మీ బాబురా బాబు అన్నట్టు గుర్తుపెట్టుకుని అనమాట. అంటే ఇవి హైడ్రోలైజ్ అవ్వవు. మీతో పోల్చుకుంటే మేము తోపులు అన్నట్టు గుర్తుపెట్టుకుని. అంటే నథింగ్ బట్ condensed tannins on compared to hydrolyzable, these non-hydrolyzable tannins not easily hydrolyzable, that is BAP. So black ketachu, Amra, Ashoka Bar, pale ketachu, Pterocarpus. So these are the examples of proanthocyanidins are phlobatannins are non-hydrolyzable tannins are condensed tannins, and generally these condensed tannins are related to the flavonoids. They are related to the flavonoids, and generally the condensed tannins upon dry distillation gives catechol tannins. Next, complex tannins. So complex tannins nothing but these are mixture of both hydrolyzable as well as condensed tannins. So condensed tannin nothing but non-hydrolyzable tannins are phlobatannins are proanthocyanidins. And examples like T quercus. So T quercus are examples of complex tannins. Complex tannins. Next, pseudotannins. So already we discussed that pseudotannins are the tannin compounds. Generally, these are separate group of tannins, but may treated as subgroup because they do not obey, they do not give positive result for the gold beater spin test. Okay. So just now we discussed is complex tannins. Complex tannins you can observe in the T as well as quercus. And the pseudotannins, these are not gives positive result for the gold beater skin test. So pseudotannins like chlorogenic acid present in the Naxomica, coffee, ipecac, as well as catechins in the coca. So catechins in coca and pseudotannin in ipecac and pseudotannin in coffee and pseudotannin chlorogenic acid in Naxomica comes under the category of pseudotannins. These are not tannins, and because these are known as pseudotannins because of they do not give positive test for the gold beater skin test. And here, after completion of this detailed information regarding classification of tannins, next we are moving to the different identification test for the tannins. Different identification test for the tannins. In that, the general identification test for tannins is gold beater skin test. Gold beater skin test. So what is this gold beater skin test? A small piece of gold beater skin, that is membrane prepared from the intestine of ox. So ox యొక్క intestine నుంచి ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తారు. దానికి 20% HCl యాడ్ చేయాలి. సో యాడ్ 20% HCl. Rinse in distilled water placed in solution of tannin for 5 minutes. So placed in solution of tannin for 5 minutes. Next, skin piece washed with distilled water and kept in 1% solution of ferrous sulfate. Brown or black color on skin indicates there is a presence of tannins. So ఈ రియాక్షన్ మొత్తం అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఎండ్ రిజల్ట్ బ్రౌన్ గానీ బ్లాక్ కలర్ ఉంటే దాన్ని ఏమంటారంటే కనుక సో దెర్ ఈస్ ఏ ఇండికేషన్ ఆఫ్ ప్రెసెన్స్ ఆఫ్ టానిన్స్. అంటే ముందు అసలు అది టానిన్ లేదో తెలుసుకోవాలంటే ఈ టెస్ట్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం అన్నమాట. లైక్ జనరల్ ఆల్కలైడ్ టెస్ట్ లాగా. So for identification of particular crude drug is a tannin or not, that should be first identified by the gold beater skin test. Next, gelatin test. So solution of tannin plus aqueous solution of 1% gelatin and 10% sodium chloride. So solution of tannin plus aqueous solution of 1% gelatin and 10% sodium chloride. White buff color precipitate indicate presence of tannins. So gelatin test, tannin solution plus 1% gelatin aqueous solution and 10% sodium chloride, and when mixing there is appearance of white buff color that indicates presence of tannins. White buff precipitate is an indication of tannins. Next is phenazone test. So 10 ml aqueous extract of tannin, sodium acid phosphate is heated. So for 10 ml of tannin, there is addition of sodium acid phosphate, and after that is this undergoes heating, then cooled, and then it go for filtration. And to the filtrate, phenazone will be added, and the bulky color precipitate indicate presence of the tannins. And next is the matchstick test. So the matchstick test also known as catechin test. The matchstick test also known as catechin test. So catechin test is nothing but matchstick test. It is one of the tests for identification of a tannin compounds. So what is happening here? So here matchstick, nothing but agibulla. Matchstick is dipped in aqueous plant extract, dried near burner, moisture with HCl. On warming, matchstick would turn pink or red due to formation of chloroglycanol. Due to formation of chloroglycanol. That is the indication of presence of tannins. That is the indication of presence of tannins. So matchstick test, phenazone test, gelatin test, gold bitter skin test. These are the tests for identification of a tannins. And especially the primary test, initial test is the gold bitter skin test. Gold bitter skin test. So regarding examples of hydrolyzable as well as condensed tannins, I already discussed in the above classification itself. Above classification itself. And next, we have to see, so individual drug, their synonym, their biological source, their family, their chemical constituents, and including their uses also. The first one is myrobalan. First one is myrobalan. And first we are discussing regarding hydrolyzable tannins. Hydrolyzable tannins are MTAP. Okay. So regarding hydrolyzable tannins, first one is the myrobalan. The myrobalan synonym, chebulic myrobalan, also known as Harday as well as Haritaki. And biological source, dried mature fruits of Terminalia chebula belong to the family Combritaceae. So the family of myrobalan is Combritaceae and biologically derived from the dried mature fruits of Terminalia chebula. And only Terminalia chebula అని గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవద్దు. సో ఎగ్జామ్స్ లో మీకు ఫ్రూట్స్ లేకపోతే లీవ్స్ అని కూడా క్లియర్ అడుగుతాడు అనమాట ఫార్మకాగ్నసీ. సో దట్స్ వై dried mature fruits of Terminalia chebula belong to the family Combritaceae and generally the chemical constituents like chebulic acid, chebulonic acid, tannic acid, ellagic acid as well as gallic acids are the chemical constituents. These are the chemical constituents. Next, uses. Regarding uses, generally used as a purgative as well as dental preparation. So purgative nothing but used in the constipation treatment. So like purgative, cathartic. And generally regarding applications, so it is a part of Triphala Churna. So Triphala Churna nothing but a herbal medicine preparation. It is in the form of powder. It including of 3 crude drugs. So in that 3 crude drugs, one of is myrobalan and shows the astringent properties. Stomachochic can stimulate the GIT and can be a purgative used in the treatment of constipation. Helps in the constipation treatment or relief of the constipation. And next, second hydrolyzable tannin cognizee, Bahera. Second one is Bahera. Regarding Bahera, also known as Bellaric myrobalan, nothing but myrobalan, Baheda, Bibitak. So Haritaki is nothing but myrobalan and Bibitak is nothing but Bahera. So names కొంచెం different గా ఉంటాయి. So ఆశ్చర్యపోవద్దు, భయపడొద్దు. So biological source is dried ripe fruits of Bellarica. So Bahera Bellarica and myrobalan Terminalia chebula. So Bahera Bellarica. అంటే చదివేటప్పుడు మీరు అట్లా అనుకుంటా ఉండండి, ఎందుకంటే చాలా కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యే ఛాన్స్ ఉంది. సో Combritaceae, family is Combritaceae and most of the constituents are same. So it may containing some extra glucose as well as phylamblin. So all the chemical constituents are mostly similar. And regarding application, generally it is maybe astringent and it maybe helps in the dyspepsia, as well as diarrhea, dyspepsia as well as diarrhea. And regarding other points, so it is also for the one of the ingredient in the Triphala Churna. One of the ingredient in the Triphala Churna. But important point regarding Bahira is, so there is a stone cells and a rosette of calcium oxalate crystals present in the parenchyma cells. So Bahira containing a rosette type of calcium oxalate crystals. So the Bahira contains rosette type of calcium oxalate crystals. So on the calcium oxalate crystals also, you can accept a question in the pharmacognosy. And continuation. Next, Arjuna Bar. So Arjuna Bar is one of the important tannin having good medicinal importance compared to remaining drugs. So let's see here. Arjuna Bar. So the Arjuna nothing but synonym Arjuna Bar, nothing but Arjun. Dried stem bark of Terminalia Arjuna. Terminalia Arjuna. Okay. And Terminalia balearic is which one? Bahera. And family is same, Combretaceae. Myrobalan, Bahera, Arjuna, all are belong to same family, Combretaceae. And regarding chemical constituents, tannins like catechol, gallocatechol, epicatechol, epigallocatechol, gallic acid. So these are general chemical constituents. But important like flavonoids like arzunolone, arjunone, and triterpenoids like arzunetin, arjunzenin, and arjun glucoside 1 and 2, and also beta sitosterol. Beta sitosterol. The beta sitosterol present in the Arjuna may having effect on the cardiovascular system, can decrease the blood pressure. So the main chemical constituents are arzunetin, arzunolone, and beta sitosterol. Beta sitosterol. Next, further continuation regarding Arjuna bark. So its application. So the applications, nothing but uses of Arjuna bark like. So let's have a look on here. So generally, due to presence of arginolic acid, the Arjuna bark shows a diuretic effect. The diuretic effect of Arjuna bark is because of its presence of arginolic acid. Arginolic acid. And it because of presence of beta sitosterol, it may decrease the blood pressure and heart rate and reduce the anginal frequency. So the Arjuna bark having good effect on the heart diseases. Good effect on the heart diseases. And here the important point we have to compulsory remember the adulterants. Terminalia tomentosa is a adulterant. So Arjuna bark ni Terminalia tomentosa to adulterate చేయొచ్చు. So but here it is a Terminalia Arjuna. This can be adulterated by Terminalia tomentosa. మరి దాన్ని ఎలా మనం ఐడెంటిఫై చేయొచ్చు అంటే కనుక బై ఫ్లోరసెన్స్ టెస్ట్. Ethereal extract of Arjuna bark gives pink color, but Terminalia tomentosa gives pale color. So by this difference, you can easily differentiate the Terminalia tomentosa, which used to adulterate Terminalia Arjuna. Terminalia Arjuna gives pink color on fluorescence, but Terminalia tomentosa gives pale color on the fluorescence. సో అంటే ఇక్కడ మనం చాలా పాయింట్స్ అవుతున్నాము. ఇందులో మేజర్ గా మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సింది దాని యొక్క సినానిమ్, దాని యొక్క బయాలజికల్ సోర్స్, దాని యొక్క కెమికల్ కన్స్టిట్యూయెంట్స్ అండ్ దాని యొక్క యూజెస్ అండ్ మెయిన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అడల్టరెంట్స్ ఏంటి. ఎందుకంటే అడల్టరెంట్స్ మీద ఖచ్చితంగా ఒక క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ డీటెయిల్ ఫర్దర్. సో నెక్స్ట్ క్రూ డ్రగ్. is Amla. Just a second. So regarding Amla, the pharmacognosy of Amla is also very, very important one. And synonym like Emblica, Indian gooseberry, and Amalfi. So chala sarlu Indian gooseberry anedi synonym denikani adugunnarandi. Okay. And the source is dried fresh fruits of Emblica officinalis belong to the family Euphorbiaceae. And the major chemical constituent, apart from that major chemical constituent, The amla is rich in phosphorus, calcium, iron as well as pectin, and it is a high source of vitamin C, 600 to 750 mg per 100 gram of fresh pulp, and also containing 0.5% fat. అంటే ఇక్కడ P అంటే 0.5% మీనింగ్ అనమాట. అలాగే 5 lemblin ఉంటుంది అండ్ 5% tannin also there. So it is a highly rich source of vitamin C, belong to the family Euphorbiaceae, and from the source of dried fresh fruits of Emblica officinalis with a interesting synonym, Indian gooseberry. Okay. So generally vitamin C having antioxidant property. So it can eradicate the free radicals. And generally in some disease, especially because of generation of free radicals. So ఎప్పుడైతే కొన్ని డిసీజ్లు అనేవి ఎక్కువగా ఫ్రీ రాడికల్స్ జనరేట్ అవడంలో వస్తాయో వాటిలో విటమిన్ సి ప్లస్ విటమిన్ ఈని ఇస్తారండి. ఎందుకంటే విటమిన్ ఈ కూడా యాంటీ ఆక్సిడెంట్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి విటమిన్ సి ప్లస్ విటమిన్ ఈని కాంబినేషన్ గా ఇస్తారు. అండ్ జనరల్ విటమిన్ సి టాబ్లెట్స్ మనకు ఉంటాయి, but naturally vitamin C available from the amla, that is belong to the family Euphorbiaceae, and synonym is Indian gooseberry, and fresh dried fruits of Emblica officinalis. అంటే ఫార్మకాగ్నసీ అనేది మీరు సడన్ గా ఎవరైనా అడిగితే మీకు గుర్తు రాపోవచ్చు కానీ బట్ మీరు కంటిన్యూస్ గా ఎక్కువగా చదువుతూ ఉంటే మీరు ఆప్షన్స్ చూసి మీరు ఈజీగా ఐడెంటిఫై చేయగలరు. బట్ ఫార్మకాగ్నసీని అస్సలు అశ్రద్ధ చేయొద్దు. Why? Because in upcoming there are number of notification. Now ESIC is going on. Now pharmacist ESIC going on. In upcoming 2 months, Central Drug Inspector 400 plus vacancies are there. So continue your preparation. Don't think that still notification is not there. So if you are preparing, మీరు ప్రిపేర్ అవుతూ ఉంటే ఈ నోటిఫికేషన్ కాకపోతే ఇంకో నోటిఫికేషన్ కొడతారు, అది మాత్రం అశ్రద్ధ చేయదు. బట్ నాలెడ్జ్ అనేది ఎప్పుడు ఎక్కడికి పోదు, అది అశ్రద్ధ చేయొద్దు. And generally regarding
chemical constant PCI means what, sir?
No, okay. So rich in phosphorus, P means phosphorus, C means calcium, I means iron. I hope I already studied. Maybe don't worry, అంటే నేను ప్రిపేర్ చేసేటప్పుడు కొంచెం లిటిల్ బిట్ షార్ట్ కట్స్ పెట్టాను అనమాట, ఏం లేదు. సో అపార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ దట్ విటమిన్ సి, ఇట్ ఈస్ రిచ్ ఇన్ ఫాస్ఫరస్, కాల్షియం యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ ఐరన్ సోర్స్ ఆల్సో. ఐ మీన్స్ ఐరన్ అంటే జనరల్గా మనం FE అని పెడతాము, నేను అలా పెట్టాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఓకే, అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ కంటిన్యూషన్. సో జనరల్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అన్ యాక్రిడ్, అంటే కొంచెం మనకి తెలంగాణనే కొంచెం డిఫరెంట్ చేదు స్వభావంగా ఉంటుంది యాక్రిడ్. ఇట్ మే బి డైయూరిటిక్, ఇట్ మే బి లాక్సేట్ టు హెల్ప్ ఇన్ కాన్స్టిపేషన్, ఇట్ మే బి రెఫ్రిజరెంట్, కెన్ బి యూజ్డ్ ఇన్ డయేరియా, కెన్ బి యూజ్డ్ ఇన్ dysentery, a abdominal or intestinal infection, promotes hair growth. So generally it can promote the hair growth, So if any substance can increase hair growth, increasing unwanted hair growth, that is known as, the property is known as, what is that property?
Hirsutism.
Very good, hirsutism. Very good, keep it up, Utar. So can you name some drugs which can cause hirsutism? Can you name some drugs causes hirsutism? Like minoxidil. Minoxidil generally antihypertensive drug, but it can increase unwanted hair. And even some drugs like phenytoin may also cause the hirsutism. And next, tannic acid. So tannic acid is a fermented oak galls grown on the twigs of Quercus, nothing but Quercus infectoria, belong to the family Phagaceae. So tannic acid, nothing but it is a fermented product. It grows on the twigs of Quercus infectoria, fermented F, and belong to the family F Phagaceae. And chemical constituents containing gallic acid, and it also containing glucose. And general applications. So it may be astringent for the mucous membrane. And further is non-hydrolyzable tannins. Especially condensed tannins. Regarding condensed tannins, first one is the pale catechol. So regarding pale catechol pharmacognosy, just see here, the synonym is Gambier, also known as catechol. Biological source, dried aqueous extracts produced from the leaves and young twigs of Uncaria gambier. belong to the family Rubiaceae. And chemical constituent 7 to 30% of pseudotannin, nothing but catechol, 22 to 55% of phlobotannin, catechonic acid, and also there is a Gambier fluorescent as well as quercetin. So these are like a little bit confusing chemical constituents. So generally there are tannins, phlobotanins like that. And use can be a local astringent and dyeing agent as well as in the dyeing agents in the tanning industries. So generally these are used as a dyeing agents in the tanning industries. And especially the pale catechoke gives positive test for the stick test, that is matchstick test. Matchstick test. Next, black catechu. So regarding the black catechu, synonym kutch as well as katta, dried aqueous extracts produced from the hardwoods of acacia catechu. So acacia ane gum untundi, adi Leguminosae family ki sambandhinchindi. And here also acacia catechu, that is black catechu, biological source, belong to the family Leguminosae, and it can be astringent as well as appetizer, increase the hunger, ఆకలిని పెంచుతుంది. And next, amra. So amra nothing but mango, nothing but so మామిడికాయ. Dried stem bark of Manzifera indica belong to the family Anacardiaceae and containing 10 to 20% of tannins like procatachic acid, mangoferin as well as alanine and glycine. The main constituent is mangoferin, and some of the amino acids like alanine as well as glycine, and 10 to 20% of tannins are there. Generally, it having antimicrobial as well as antioxidant activity as well as analgesic. Pain relieving activity. Next, Ashoka bark. From the dried stem bark of Saraka indica belong to the family Leguminosae, containing 6% tannin and also hematoxylin, ketositosterol. The ketositosterol having androgenic action. Generally, the Ashoka bark may having action like oxytocic, may having actions like sedative, may stimulates the uterus and helps in the treatment of